Hi, everyone. Let me start with a quote from Attila the Hun. There, where I have passed, the grass will never grow again. Well, Attila the Hun was like just a child compared to modern warriors and what they do to the lands and to place, to the landscape, and even to people. Well, we know that during 2023, 170 different wars were registered across our planet. Now, the thing is that when we talk about war, one thing that usually is not talked about is pollution from war. And pollution from war is amazingly big. Let's start with thinking that armies train all the time for war. They keep a sort of a paranoid mentality. So they are expecting aggression and they are preparing for defense and counter aggression or for first strikes. To do that, armies all over the planet own between 1 to 6% of land. They own lots of areas in a way, even in the oceans. They keep training and preparing worse weapons all the time. They keep using huge amounts of money to repair better killing weapons. So this means they keep training and moving around and detonating stuff and using their explosives even when they are at peace. This means that 5.5% of greenhouse global emissions are coming from the armies. And of course, they are polluting. Now, when we think about war times, let's go to Iraq. After the war, 47% of natural forests in Iraq had been destroyed. Because armies have this reasoning that they must destroy forests to avoid enemies to hide in them. So they really devastate forests all over the place. Then in Iraq, you have 2.4 million hectares unusable for agriculture, namely because of landmines. The debris, the destruction of infrastructures all over the place in wars, as we see recently in Ukraine and the Gaza land, and we see now modern in Syria and so on. The destruction of infrastructure, the debris, brings a lot of pollution to the ground and to the air. There is a huge increase in breathing respiratory diseases from people exposed to that sort of pollution. Then we have the pollution from explosive, namely from depleted uranium that stays on land polluting everything for years and years to come. So when you eat something that was cultivated in such lands, you may die from poisoning and you may die a slow death. Landmines, even when you explode them, leave traces of chemicals all over the place. You have dirty explosives, there are all sorts of scrap metals in the areas of war, and you have many remainings, chemical remainings of all sorts that stay in place. In the past Gulf War, you have 500,000 metric tons of air pollutants from the burning and destruction of about 600 oil wells. It's quite a lot. And of course, this damaged people and still damaging the environment all over around the area. And we know that armies have a scorched land policy many times. So they destroy everything that could bring nourishment to the opposing armies or to local people. And they destroy infrastructure that was helpful to keep things going, forcing populations to resort to survival possibilities that are usually more pollutant. Then, of course, in places ravaged by war, there is no garbage disposition. There are no mechanisms to protect the populations and to renew things. Everything gets destroyed for a long time. So after war, Armies have the problem that they keep getting rid of obsolete materials, namely explosives, but also obsolete machinery that is outdated by the constant strive to make progress with new, more sophisticated weapons. So they dispose of the old ones all the time, namely by throwing them into the oceans. What I found is that between Northern Ireland and Scotland, there is a trench where the Brits have placed 1 million tons of munitions, quite a lot. And then you have sunken ships, you have sunken submarines, you have war airplanes that were dumped into the ocean, and so on and so on. Huge amount of pollution. Nobody's talking about this. There is also the pollution from the mind, probably the fundamental that is there before and after wars and during war. We have the ideas that we must hate other people, that we must strive to destroy them, that we must get rid of all their resources, we must starve them, poison them. We must win the war at all costs. This means there is on this planet of ours a constant ongoing war where all the armies are united in a way against humanity, civilization, and our planet. And this is really something to think about when propaganda is glamorizing war, but keep in mind that war is a fundamental evil in our planet, war itself. And armies many times have a mentality of just destruction at all costs and winning at all costs, which is not good for us humans. It's the idea for today. As usual, if you like it in some way, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. See you.